Coach Simmons here. Today I wanted to do 3 videos in one. I want to start that being my trend going forward on things that caught my attention this week so far. We all know about Jimbo Fisher being fired from A&M, and it's an example of the have and the have-nots. Not only did he get his $70+ million, $76 million contract buyout, but the Power Five is owing $146 million just to let a coach go. Looking at $15.5 for Brian Harsin over at Auburn, $15 million for Scott Frost in Nebraska. Geoff Collins fired by Georgia Tech, $11.4. Paul Christ fired from Wisconsin, $11 million. Carl Durrell fired from Colorado. We'll get back to that later at $8.7. $4.4 for Herm Edwards at Arizona State, and $4 million for Zach Arnett being fired Monday, Mississippi State. They are paying more than a lot of FCS schools have in their 10-year budget to get a coach out for 1 year. That's the difference between the have and the have-nots. $76 million being paid to Jimbo Fisher when a new stadium costs $80. Speaking of that stadium, it costs $80 million for a new one. This weekend is the Soul Bowl down in Jackson, Mississippi. I beg to point that this game will be the most attended game in the FCS, because this is the Super Bowl for these two schools. Unless something breaks greatly for Jackson State in the next couple of weeks, they're not going to the playoffs. So this is it. Last home game, last chance for both teams to make a stake. For Jackson State, they have to make a statement. Let people know this year you got us. Next year, that ass is ours. Showcase the young talent, the ones coming back before they supposedly get poached by other schools. For Alcorn State, Alcorn State University, this is your chance to actually step up, show out, and defend Mississippi. Because this is the 3rd year in a row. If y'all lose this game, y'all lost to Jackson. We already know that Coach McNair is known for starting slow, getting underwhelming talent, and then developing that talent. When he wants to win the recruiting race in the state, you can't go 0-3 versus Jackson in the last 3 years. I'm not talking about history before 2020. Since Alcorn State decided to skip the spring season, that's when I'm counting this. Also, even though the SWAC championship is scheduled for the 2 weeks following, whatever, I do know Alcorn still has a shot to win the SWAC West. It's a long shot, but everything depends on them handling their business. If they would have wrapped it up last week, instead of getting the dumpster fire that they not the whole season, became being that big dumpster fire against Texas Southern, this game would have been a lock. But now we're going to see 2 cities empty out. I'll be surprised if they don't fill the vet up. I mean, 60,000. Fill every seat. But we'll see. Excuse me. Another thing we're going to look at, both teams are great coming back next year. Both teams are young-ish. We're going to find out the holes that need to be addressed in the offseason and see which kids, these quote-unquote Power Fives, are going to try to poach for depth because we know what happened with Jackson last year. Now that their players left, and we know only 3 of them, maybe 4 of those players are seeing significant playing time. The rest of them, if they had stayed, would have been the most dominant team in the history of the FCS. Speaking of that person, Coach Prime. Yeah, I know. I got to get this off my chest. Stephen A. Smith mentioned the other day about Coach Prime possibly wait, how do you say it? I want to quote him correctly now. He wants Coach Prime to go to Texas A&M because the facilities and the resources they have. That's not what you should worry about. The thing you should worry about with Coach Prime is not him trying to find a way to get a waiver for Travis Hunter and Shedeur, and I think probably Shiloh and Callum Sylvan Craig to go to A&M. That shouldn't be the question. See, if you're short-sighted, like a lot of commentators are, they're going to jump on this whole, is Coach Prime going to A&M? If you think about it real quick, a lot of those kids A&M got were recruited by Coach Prime at Jackson State. A lot of those kids were on the verge of signing with Coach Prime at Jackson State before they went to A&M. Talking to you, Shamar Stewart. Now with their coach being gone, and most important part, when they signed the NIL deals for A&M, they were 2-year deals. Those deals are gone. What's stopping them from jumping in the portal? And the O-line and the D-line that he needs in Colorado changes and jumps ship. That's what I want you to think about. No one ever said, and there's not being a shot, no one said Coach Prime was a great coach. Nobody said he was a great coach. They said he was a great recruiter, a great motivator, which is a quality of an NFL coach. Very few NFL coaches are great at putting in a system, an offensive system. Most of them are great at getting people around them, great coordinators, to implement the style they want to see. But the great ones are great in motivating, i.e. Mike Tomlin gets the most out of the Steelers, i.e. Pete Carroll, most out of the Seahawks. You have a coach who's running a college team like an NFL team, getting people NFL quality money. Why go be a 7th-round pick making $600,000 a year? You can get $5 million here in Colorado. But now those kids at A&M are going to be free. And who else do you know that's going to catch them besides Coach Prime?